Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 24 of All the Mods 3 Expert Mode. It's been the better part of a day since our last episode, and look at that, 26 pieces of TerraSteel. Our TerraSteel automation has been working great. Looks like it produces just over one piece an hour. So shows about the rate of our mana production, right? It fills a mana pool then in just about 2 hours. That's very slow for what it's worth. Anyways, those 26 pieces then will probably be enough to make the Elven Gateway core and get us deeper into all this stuff down here. But first, we have to make a vat. So I have to make some fluid conduits to complete that quest. Let's see. We made the alloy smelter and sag mill last episode. So with fused quartz, not here. Oh, nothing. All right. With I made both quite clear glass and fused quartz. Quite clear glass can be made or used to make the fluid conduits. Let's see, just regular fluid conduits, and I need 16 of them for the quest. Nice. Looks like that actually unlocks the powered spawner. Ooh. Well, not quite. We need soul machine frames and Z-Logic controllers. I've been baited. But that's not what I want to do first. I want to make the vat. The vat is a fluid processing machine that I need to make end steel. But the vat is a fluid processing machine that can make, I think at this point we want Dew of the Void specifically. So we need nutrient distillation, pulsating crystals, ender crystals. So this also needs a soul binder. And Dew of the Void buckets are used to make our Elven Gateway core. Alright, so let's start by making that vat. The vat, of course. This is the enhanced vat. Ooh. But enhanced machine casings have to wait. Perhaps more excitingly than anything else, though, we can now make ender fluid conduits. My favorite. Give me a full stack of them. Haha, these can run multiple fluids in a single block space shared with other conduits, and I no longer need stupid transfer nodes. Get out of here. Ha. Just a quick tip, when placing under fluid conduits, they default to this state, which includes insert on green. What that means is if you ever extract on the green channel on a fluid network, as soon as you place down another connection, it'll, put green fluid into it. So as a result, I just never extract on the green channel with fluid nodes. Easy as that. So the first step in making Dew of the Void is nutrient distillation. That's made in our first vat using some type of skull and some type of mushroom. At least that's the recipe I'm going for. We can get slightly more yield by using fermented spider eyes, but I don't want to have to deal with crafting that mostly. Anyways, so first of all, it needs fluid, so that'll be water. And again, just a force of habit, I always extract water on the blue channel. Water being, well, blue. Anyways, ingredients go in here. We can configure you to pull from that and push your final product to there. All right, the second vat then will turn the nutrient distillation into Dew of the Void. Nutrient distillation has a few other uses. It can be used to power a zombie generator, although at this point it's like we're well past the point where the zombie generator is relevant. It can also power things like the Killer Joe and maybe a couple more Ender IO machines, but none of which really are that practical. Anyways, we now have nutrient distillation. Cool. So before we can make Dew of the Void, though, I think we can already make grains of physiality because this is just diamonds and pulsating iron. However, grains of the end requires soul vials filled with Enderman souls and vibrant crystals. Let's see, can we automate the creation of these soul vials? To do so, we need a powered spawner. And do that, we need soul frames and Z-Logic controllers. Alright, so let's see about that. Soul dye, organic black dye, organic brown dye. That doesn't look too difficult. Brown dye, eggs, charcoal, or brown dye, slime, charcoal. Sure. Here are soul machine chassis and a whole bunch more dye for when we want to make more. This primarily unlocks the spawner, the soul binder, and the slice and splice. But there's a couple other neat things in here. I guess a weather obelisk. The farming station. Almost forgot about that little guy. Chromium. Sower, plant gather. All right. This is a great way to make like a tree farm, for instance. Does the soulless chassis do anything? Doesn't seem like it. All right. Anyways, I want to start by making the soul binder. It takes one of each head, but looks like we have them all, and the slice and splice. With the intention of making a powered spawner. What's different about these recipes? I'll use the cheaper bars. Thank you very much. The slice and splice takes axes, shears, and a bunch of different inputs to make Z-Logic controllers. I'm just going to put all of these in here and have it pull it as it sees fit. It also needs a capacitor, so let's make some of those, but we are need to make a lot more components. So let's see, enhanced electron boards. I think I made extras of those last time. They're just waiting for me, I hope. That appears to be the case. And lithium and grains of infinity. All right, let's do something about our grains of infinity. Actually, hold on. Now that we've made the vat, can we make firewater? Firewater, hooch, blaze powder, redstone. And this is just water, seeds, sugar. Yeah, let's do that. So, this nutrient distillation that I've made so far, I'm thinking I'll just void it and start over. I think we'll only have to make one batch of firewater ever, so I'll just make it by hand, and then if ever we need more, I'll set up automation then. But for now, our poisonous potatoes actually are very efficient for making this hooch. I don't know why you would ever drink something made from poisonous potatoes, but don't ask me. Anyways, I love the time in a bottle too. This should make us a bucket of firewater. Once we have that, we can go set up our grains of infinity automation. Nice. All right, give me one bucket of this. So if we just place this firewater on bedrock, it'll spread out, centered well enough. Ooh, my room is just the perfect width for it, huh? And then it will eventually produce a piece of grains of infinity. The rate's not terribly high, but the fact that it just has to exist to do it should be good enough. I'm going to wait a minute. If we don't get any after like a minute or so, I'm going to assume that this mechanic has been disabled. And we'll be very sad. Nope, there it is. Grains of infinity. Am I in a chunk-loaded chunk? Yeah, more or less. This bit here might not be, right? Alright, I'll just chunk load these as well then. Almost out of claim chunks, but I can either bump that limit up or I'll use chunk loading lords to make up the difference. Anyways, all we need to do is set up a system that will automatically pick up these and store them in a drawer. And voila, they're automated. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but at the same time, we don't need a tremendous amount of these. So I have 8, and that was what, like about maybe 2 minutes of production. So if we get 4 a minute, that's more than enough. Yeah, so now, after an hour, I can come down here and get, what, if we say 2 a minute, that's like an hour, 120. That's really difficult math. But yeah, it's enough to handle our needs. All right, a few more tier 1 capacitors. 4 more, that'll do. So 1 for you, 1 for you. And after some awful soul crunching noises, we'll be getting Z-Logic controllers, which is the last component we're missing for powered spawners. Of course, just making the spawner isn't enough because it doesn't actually spawn any mob. We have to tell it which mob specifically to spawn. So to do so, I'm going to need the soul of an Enderman. It's probably easiest to go to the end to grab that. So make a quick trip to our end portal, some 200-ish blocks away. So many Enderman souls to choose from. Which one should I take? Let's take a few extras actually, just for good measure. Who knows? Maybe they'll come in handy later. Yoink, 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 and yoink. Whoopsies, forgot to hit the record button for a few segments here, so we're jumping ahead in time a little bit. With those Enderman souls, I've now made a Enderman powered spawner. It's only powered by a basic capacitor because that's all we've got right now, so it's a little on the slow side. In fact, it's a lot on the slow side, but it can the advantage of using the powered spawner over something like the disturbed spawner, right, which is both faster and doesn't use any power, is that it can automatically put the Enderman in the soul jar. Whereas if I use the disturbed spawner, I need like a mechanical user to click the Enderman. This also creates filled soul vials with no MBT data, so they stack. Well, the only MBT data is the mob that's in it. So with all that, we can then jam the Enderman souls into vibrant crystals in a soul binder powered by liquid XP. It has to be specifically open blocks liquid EXP. It cannot be the other form, the essence of knowledge. I tried power it with essence of knowledge and it doesn't work. So no big deal. Just keep that in mind. That creates our ender crystals. Then all we have to do is grind down our ender crystals in a sag mill. These are ground down pulsating crystals. So once these are done, we can put it all together in our vat, which that shouldn't have hooch in it, right? That should have nutrient distillation. Empty that out. Earlier, the vat has produced a... is this a full tank? Yeah, a full tank of firewater. So if I need any more firewater, I have a bunch of it waiting for me for later. But I've switched our vats back to nutrient distillation production. So once these are done... come on, almost there. 15 and 16. We can put these in here. And that should, when I configure input right, start making Dew of the Void. So we need 4 buckets of this, I believe, for our Elven Gateway core, and it doesn't look like we need it for anything else. Do we need Vapor of Levity for anything? What is this? Ender Ingot. Well, looks like we likely will. These recipes... this is definitely not the vanilla recipe for it, so I assume if someone went through the effort to make that recipe, the recipe will also do something. Anyways, we're in a couple minutes we'll have 4 buckets of Dew of the Void. So let's clear these off our list, and that's one more item knocked off the the things we need to craft here. So what's left? Let's make this Fermium. This should be very quick, right? We just have to melt down some Terra Steel. Let's melt down 8 precious Terra Steel ingots and see how much Fermium we get out of that. That much, apparently. I think we only needed 4 ingots, so this is enough. Let's see. Do that, and this should get me 4 ingots. So I'll store the rest away for a rainy day. Nice. Alright, I think we're actually pretty close to making this Elven Gateway core now. This ought to do it. Let's put it all together for an Elven Gateway core. Oh, I guess it only took 2 buckets of that stuff. Oh well. Now to set up the rest of it, we're going to need Natura pylons. I'm just going to do a little crafting here, but I think we need a couple Natura pylons, a couple more mana pools, and some other goodies. I think I've got all the stuff for this portal. We can use our nice little in-world preview here to see what it'll look like. It needs a little bit of mana, so I want to build it at least remotely close to our mana generation. Let's if I break that, can I get it to sink down 1 tile? Yeah, let's build it there. Alright, so it's the gateway cores there. That's a major component. The rest is basically just living wood and more living wood. And structure complete. Haha. But that's not all there is to it. You also have to supply it with mana, so you need somewhere within range. I think it's a pretty big range, like a 5 or 6 block range. You need 2 mana pools that have Natura pylons on top of them, and you need a bit of mana in those pools. So let's get a tablet to move mana around. Oh, I was expecting an easier crafting recipe for some reason. What is this? A creative tablet. Alright, I'm out of mana pools. 1 second. Mana pools take forever to make because you have to melt down glowstone. I was hoping that Past Me was smart enough to have made some ahead of time, but alas, Past Me does not think ahead well enough. Alright, time in a bottle to the rescue. Make me a mana pool. I mean, at least it melts very quickly with a capacitor in there. It's not that bad. Alright, so now that we have a mana tablet, we can move some mana from this pool to the one that we're, to those. And I think this pool is in the wrong mode. Yeah, I want you in fill tablet mode. There we go. Before you open your portal, you'll need at least a little bit of mana in each of these pools. There's a relatively high cost to open the portal, so let's do so now. Let's take a look. This is what? Well, here, that's the level it's at before we open it, and it'll drain. There we go. It drains a fair bit when you open it, so make sure your pools aren't empty because the portal closes if your pool's empty out. But in the current version of Botania, there is no maintenance cost to keeping the portal open. So once you have it open, it only costs mana to trade items. Now, one of the first things I want to trade is my book. I actually don't know what happens if I trade my Akashic Tome, so I'm going to just trade a regular Lexica Botania and then add it to my Akashic Tome. I assume I'm allowed to do this. Apparently not. Hold on. Alright, you just have to turn your Akashic Tome back to the default form. And then you can add it. And then I think, yeah. So now you have both the basic Lexica Botania and the Elven Lexica Botania. This has all the documentation for the Elven stuff. Cool. So one of the main reasons I wanted to do that was for pixie dust. Specifically so I can make the quarry shape card. So let's set that as our next goal. Shape card quarry needs, oh no, I need elementium processors for that. Alright, so this needs elementium ingots, which come from trading star metal. Interesting. Alright, well, here you go. Elves have a stack of star metal and give me a stack of elementium. Now again, this drains our mana a little bit, but the per operation cost is low enough that I'm not too worried about it. You know what, maybe before I make this, I should improve our mana production. Let me think about that. Yeah, I think with the time left we have today, we're more likely to complete our mana project than build a quarry and all that stuff. So to make mana in the late game Botania, I always default to this flower. It eats cakes, and to make cakes, we can turn pumpkins into cakes with Astral Sorcery. We can also buy cakes from villagers pretty easily, so there's a couple pretty easy ways of getting cakes. Of course, we can also just craft cakes, but that's a few more steps. Anyways, before we can make the flower, though, we need pixie dust, so that's sunny quartz and mana pearl. All right. How do I make sunny quartz? I assume I need sunflowers for that. No sunflowers required. I just have to turn nether quartz into mana quartz. I'm also running out of mana here. But hopefully our poor little Mormaleus will be able to hold out just a little while longer. And then I zap it on the atomic reconstructor. Oh boy, this apparently takes a lot of mana per. And by mana, I totally mean RF. I wish the atomic reconstructor could have a bigger energy buffer, so I didn't have to. I mean, I guess I could set up a system that keeps zapping it so long as there are still items on the pressure plate. Let's try this. So I have a pressure plate going into a NOT gate effectively, right? It's actually, am I using the wrong input? I'm using, let's see, facing this way. A is my input. Okay, so I want NOT A. So I had it on NOT C, I think, which is not right. All right, so this is effectively a NOT gate on the A input, so that while there's anything on the pressure plate, the zapper should stay on. That does not appear to be working. Oh, Right, because if there's items on the pressure plate, I'm powering the atomic reconstructor directly. Alright, this is a bit hacky because I kind of don't have space here because for some reason I built my collector here, but I'm just using a sensor from RF Tools to detect if there's an entity here. Unfortunately, it detects the player too, but whatever. You throw any item to be transformed there, detects that it's there, turns the zapper on. The zapper, let's also put one of these flowers. But the zapper will stay on as long as there are item entities in front of it. And we'll put you here. So that should turn my magnet off. Alright, so that'll turn the zapper on as long as there are item entities in front of it. It should keep zapping every couple seconds. There we go. And then the finished component gets sucked into a filtered vacuum chest. Aha! Next we can trade our mana pearls and sunny quartz. That should give us some elementium, or pixie dust rather. Nice. One step closer to making our flowers. Next step I think will be the runes. So we already have the rune of fire to make the rune of winter. We have the earth and water. I guess I need some cakes. Unfortunately, the cakes that you make through starlight transmutation, you can't pick up because I think even silk touch on place cakes doesn't pick them up. There might be a way to pick them. I just don't know what it is. So I'm going to try to nab a villager, I think, to see if I can trade for cakes with him. Never did find my villager to sell me cakes, which is the farmer. It's even a vanilla villager. Alas, I'll settle for a cow and then I'll just make cakes the old-fashioned way. This is my first time making tier 2 runes in this pack, so we get to test if they consume the tier 1 runes that they're made of. What am I missing? Wool, slate, water, earth, cake. Missing the wool. Wool. There we go. By default, crafting, like when crafting runes, it doesn't consume the runes that are part of its recipe, but if it does, I'll be very sad. There is a config option, and this being an expert pack, you never know what's set and isn't. So, we're about to find out. Whew, thank goodness, we got our runes back. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to make a handful of these winter runes. Next up, we can craft a batch of gluttony runes, so that's a bunch of components. One of these. Oh, doesn't sound like it started. What did I miss? 2 munch stews. There we go. Thankfully, only the first time you have to actually throw components on by hand. Afterwards, you can, just right-click to repeat. I wonder, can I upgrade my mana spreader? Elven mana spreader. I can if I get some living wood and herba crystal, sure. Alright, let's go trade for some elven wood so that we can upgrade our mana spreaders. That'll allow us to, well, spread mana faster, which will make the crafting process faster. Alright, let's do a quick comparison. So this is the rate that it progresses with a normal mana spreader, and this is the rate with a... oh, maybe there wasn't enough time to tell. Let's start the next craft. This is the rate with the elven spreader. It's noticeably faster, right? At least twice as fast, and pretty soon, after we do the Gaia boss, we can upgrade to the Gaia spreaders, or these traded mana diamonds. Okay, so oh yeah, that's actually significantly faster. I even wonder. Well, no, the bottleneck for this process is how fast our Dormaleus generates mana. But putting a faster mana spreader there won't do anything. Alright, anyways, I'm going to make 8 runes of gluttony and hopefully then be able to make 8 cake flowers. Unlike on the runic altar, when you use runes in crafting flowers, it does actually use up the rune. Which is unfortunate. But that means that I guess, there's actually something that actually consumes runes. Because otherwise, basically nothing would actually use up the rune. Alright, anyways, there's our first one, and easy enough to repeat the process. We'll have 8. This mana generation is going to take up a little bit of space, and I don't think I need this rubber tree farm anymore. So apparently pickaxes still hurt you when you break rubber with it. Alright, whatever. Yeah, I'll use my Matic then. And I'll just put our new upgraded mana generation over here. I guess it doesn't vein mine very well either, because the blocks that have like the little node on it are a different thing. Whatever. I'm just going to tear this down. And in its place, we're going to put a bunch of mana generating flowers. Right now, I'm going to have one flower per spreader because the Elven spreaders are a little bit slower. I think when we do Gaia spreaders, especially Gaia spreaders with lenses, each one can support about 4 cake flowers. So all that's left then is to transmute these pumpkins into cakes. Let's build another one of... I already got myself another Celestial Collector Crystal, so let's build another one of those little structures, you know, one of those Astral Sorcery, whatever, Celestial Crystal booster structures. And all that's left is to shine the light onto the pumpkins. And then they should, after a little bit of time, transmute into cakes. Taking longer than I expected. Now I'm starting to get scared. I even used a very powerful crystal to make sure this goes quickly. Uh-oh. I'm going to give it a minute. Oh, there it goes. All right. And then the flowers start eating the cakes. And for some reason, I guess my flowers aren't linked. Yeah, my flowers aren't linked to their mana spreaders for some reason. All right. So link you with you, you with you, down the line. And then I guess my mana spreaders aren't linked with the mana pools either, huh? There we go. Now we're producing mana. And the only cost is pumpkins. I'm using our leftover... am I empty already? I guess I am. I was using my leftover barrel of pumpkins that came from back when we were using pumpkins to generate power. But yeah, I have to set up a pumpkin farm at some point to power this. What I'll probably do is I'll just rip all of this stuff here out and replace our replace that wheat farm with pumpkins. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed in how long it's taking for these cakes or for the pumpkins to transmute into cakes. It's resulting in our flowers not having very good uptime because we're running out of cake. If ever you need more starlight, just build another collector. So now both crystals are shining into this prism lens, which should cause these cakes to transmute faster. And immediately I think we can see the results. There's always at least one cake up. I also rearranged the block placers to make sure that all of them are in range of all of the flowers. So now we are producing cakes at maximum rate. All that's left is to add a farmer to, you know, auto farm these pumpkins for us. For now, I'm just going to do the lazy approach and retask some of our canola farm here for pumpkins, because I think just 4 canola plots is enough to keep up with our canola generators, and it's not like these are producing a meaningful amount of our power. So if eventually our canola farm turns off, well, so be it. So I'm just sending pumpkins into an ender chest here. Pumpkins are mostly orange, so our ender chest is orange. And I'll put the other ender chest over here. This is a very hacky solution. So I'll probably, after we have like an AE system and a proper farm, I'll redesign it. But for the time being, pumpkins get grown and then they'll be distributed between our auto placers here. Nice. So now that we're producing all this mana, I need a way to keep these mana pools topped off. With that, I'll use sparks. We can have 2 sparks on these, and spark augments can be used. Well, I guess I need sparks on every pool, so I'm gonna need a couple more. And a spark on each of these pools. But without augments, all these sparks have equal priority, so they won't send mana to each other. our options are to either put dominant sparks on these or recessive sparks on the mana generating ones. And I guess from a design standpoint, it's more scalable to put recessive sparks on these, because then anything else I build over here that uses mana will automatically pull mana from it. So let me see what it takes to make these augments. Sometimes the augments have some unpleasant recipes. No, this isn't bad. I just have to make a bunch of earth runes. When I put these augments on these sparks here, we should see that any mana pool with a recessive augment will send mana to all other pools, including the other ones that I just haven't gotten around to putting these on yet. They're also really hard to click on. Maybe it's better from this angle? Nope, it's equally impossible to click on this from this angle. Alright, which ones have I missed? It's like it's clicking, but it's not actually going on. This mana pool is going to be full soon. Alright, one left. Anyways, there's only a 12 block range on sparks, so I think some of the furthest mana pools here might be actually out of range of these two. But what's happening is now that these two mana pools are here, they'll automatically get filled up with mana from our flowers as we generate it. It seems like only the furthest one is out of range. Meh, that's fine. And now when we go to craft mana or Terra Steel, for instance, it'll drain some of the mana out of these pools as well, which will indirectly use our cake mana to craft Terra Steel. Anyways, now that we have our Alfheim portal and good mana production, the entire world of Botania is open to us. But I think we're out of time for today, so we'll come back tomorrow and do more Botania things, and perhaps most importantly, make the RF Tools quarry, so I will never run into ore problems ever again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.